Hi, my name is Kyle from Crick Software, and our tech spotlight today is Clicker's ready-made resources. I have about 2 years experience at Crick Software, and my role is an education sales consultant, and I primarily take care of New Jersey, Texas, and South Carolina as, the primary areas that I work in. So an overview, a quick 20-minute demo, and it's just really revolving around those clickers, ready-made resources, the learning grid. So we're going to go into sentence sets, connect sets, word banks, and then I'm going to mention clicker books as well. All right. So the agenda, what is Clicker? Clicker is a speech-supported word processor. So think about Microsoft Word with a bunch of additional supports, like we have our word prediction, which uses first
The
word,
man
next word, and then
was
phonetic prediction. So if you have students who are, usually sounding out the way words
reading,
are phonetic prediction, and this should bring up
reading,
writing.
reading,
I always get annoyed.
reading,
There we go.
writing.
Anyway, by default in the document, when you put a full stop or a punctuation, a period, the sentence reads it for you.
The man was writing.
And another thing in the document, and this is kind of the, I like to call it, if you eat meat and vegetables, this would be the vegetables of the document, or excuse me, the vegetables of Clicker. So, bear with me. I'm going to definitely show you things that are a bit more not helpful, but I'd say a bit more applicable in a couple of minutes here. But anyway, these voice notes can hang out in the document here. The voice note icon allows you to record up to 6 voice notes in the document. These are great if you want your student to, you know, rehearse kind of what they're writing about, or it's really even better for maybe a teacher prompt. Say the teacher's creating a prompt and they want students to refer back to it, as a voice note, they can do that there. And then, as I said, you could have up to 6 of these guys, and they just hang out into the document. I'm going to click on one, and I'll unclick it because it's just going to be me talking. These are great. Anyway, I do jump around a bit, but we're going to go over the overview of the Clicker Writer sets. We're going to briefly talk about customizing user profiles and then analytics. But the main part of this was to really explore our pre-made curriculum-based resources, the learning grids. So before we really dive in, I just wanted to, for you to reflect on how you're currently supporting emergent writers who are not writing sentences yet. And then I'm going to show you the opposite end of the spectrum as well. Students who are maybe, contributing to the general ed curriculum, they can use Clicker as well. But I just like to kind of keep that in mind. How are you supporting emergent writers while I'm going through this? So, as I mentioned about Learning Grids, it's a professionally made, ever-expanding bank of elementary-focused learning resources freely available to all users of Clicker. You can access a wide range of topic-specific Clicker sets created by our curriculum team. So this is one example of a learning grid, the Great Barrier Reef. Uh, these are our Clickerboard examples. This is a traditional story writing, letter writing, and I know I'm flying through it. We're going to get more in depth in just a second, but these are the analytics I mentioned. So just keep in mind that anything that you're doing in Clicker, analytics can pick up on it, can show you how the student's using the word predictor, can show you how the student's using a clicker set. I really like the word predictor portion because it shows you in purple, if they just type the letter I in and choose includes, I joke and I say, maybe they're being a little bit lazy and they're not writing out the full word. Maybe they're leaning too much on the word predictor. So analytics in a broad summary just really shows you how your students are using Clicker and how you can progress them to that next step. Always like to mention some of our success stories. These are students who, longtime Clicker users and have benefited through using Clicker throughout their schooling, academic career, however you want to phrase it. And then lastly,
Kyle,
we
I
have
have a quick question.
sure, sure, sure.
This is Jesse. Can you go back and explain a little bit more about Learning Grid? Um,
About
about
learning
the Learning
grids.
Grid. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I don't want to just explain it there. I showed you guys the document, showed you guys kind of the basic overview. So to get to learning grids, you're going to go to the top left, click the file icon, go over to the globe, and here is you have over 35, almost 3,500 resources to choose from. So you can filter by specific resource in the learning grid. If you wanted a single sentence outcome activity, you can check a sentence set box and you'll get this sentence set where you click into these cells and you build your sentence word by word. Also, if you wanted maybe the next step, a connect set, which isn't a single sentence outcome activity, this is a scaffolded writing activity where you click into these cells and then you build your sentences without, having just a single sentence outcome. We have word banks, which are topic specific or um, vocab or A to Z, alphabetical. And yeah, these are just great, if students are progressing from a sentence set level, from a connect set level, maybe they only need a word bank to kind of lean on a couple different words related to the vocabulary they're writing about. I mentioned clicker boards earlier. I don't know if we're going to go too into depth with those, but these are great ways to start a topic or to end a topic. Um, and yeah, I kind of wanted to just kind of dive into I kind of have three different, I don't want to call them levels, but three different types of learning grids that could support students at certain levels. So, did you want me to add any more context, Je
That was
Jesse?
that was better. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. So, as I mentioned, if I go to the top left to get to learning grids, click on the globe, and here you can filter, as I mentioned, the check boxes. You can also just search in the search bar, or you can toggle by specific topic as well. So I mentioned I already have them open. We're going to start kind of at the most emergent level in decodable CVC, words sounding out letters and sounds and really just building, your vocabulary. So this Peg and Bob book would be a good way to start these letter sounds and just kind of building your vocabulary. You have a voice note, or excuse me, a speak text icon. And all I'm trying to say here is that you have built-in narration. So students can go into this book and they can click the narration if they want.
Peg was in the sun. Bob had a nap.
And anything in Clicker is customizable. I don't want to go too much into editing, but if you go to the top right, click the pencil icon, you can change the text of the book, the picture. I even like showing, these page turners. If you needed a larger target area, you can add a page turner as well. That's a little bit bigger. But yeah, so that we've read this book. We've kind of gone through it, and I'd say the next step would be maybe progressing to a sentence set. So, as I mentioned before, this sentence set's a single sentence outcome activity where you click into these cells
Peg was in the sun. Peg was in the sun.
and you build your sentences cell by cell or word by word. By default, this is a view and copy and random order, which means you can view the correct sentence on top. You can click it
Bob had a nap.
and then you can just directly copy it.
Bob had a nap. Bob had a nap.
Now, if you're thinking this is too, if you want to add more difficulty to this, you'd go into the top left, you click the edit button, and you could do guided order if you wanted to provide more support, or you can, so what that would look like, I'm just going to apply the settings to all grids. You can maximize the cell height. You can even add pictures uh, to the cells as well. But now when we click go, if we wanted more support to this, it's view and copy and guided order. And all that means is that it takes the student through the correct sentence. I can't get it wrong. It's an errorless free activity. Let's click the correct sentence again,
Bob had a nap.
and then I'll try to get it wrong.
Bob had a nap. Bob had a nap.
I think isn't that the type of haircut a bob would be called? I have no idea, but I think it's funny that it pulled that picture up. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's why it's pulling that. I have no idea. Anyway, did not expect that, but that's kind of how you would edit this sentence set. Maybe you could progress into the connect set, giving your student more choices and making it a little bit more challenging. As you can see, it's not just one sentence outcome here, but this is the most emergent level. So say we're teaching, maybe a student at a different level. I'd kind of think about doing the same thing. We have so many different sets and learning grids, and it's hard for me to cover it in just an hour. But if I go to the top left again, I mean, I could search for, if anyone wants me to search for something specifically on the fly, uh, by all means, I can do that, or I can kind of go on with the seven continents one. But um, anyway, we have this seven continents one, and we're kind of doing the same idea. This is called a read in steps book, so it's a little bit different than that read a book where it's more of a standard book. This read in steps book, as the name implies, yeah, you click these voice notes and you read it in steps here.
Continents are large areas of land surrounded by oceans.
And you could edit the narrator. Sometimes I'm not always, maybe I want to adjust the narrator speed or the narrator themselves. We do have a lot of different voice options you can choose from. But this read in steps book really kind of breaks down the seven continents and, you can read it, in steps. And once we've gotten a good understanding of the seven continents, maybe we're ready to begin writing about it. And I have that already open for you. So this is another single sentence outcome activity. It's in view and remember in random order by default, which means you can click the eyeball, you can view the correct sentence,
There are 7 continents on Earth.
and then you have to remember the sentence here.
There are 7 continents on Earth. There are 7 continents on Earth.
As I mentioned, if you go in a clicker set, pencil icon, you could change the sentence itself. If we wanted more support, we would do the view and copy, guided order, maximize the cell height. I know I'm going quick, but it's because I already showed it, so I don't want to, keep showing the same thing at the same pace. But that's how quickly you can make this into a errorless free activity if you wanted to. All right, maybe we don't need a connect set. Maybe we don't even need a sentence set. What I'd recommend at the higher end would be a topic specific word bank here. So maybe we can get rid of everything
Earth.
here, and maybe we could turn on our word predictor, and then we have our topic specific word bank to help us write about it. One thing that I think the clicker board would be useful with would be maybe we could do a planning board and this is that graphic organizer and maybe we could do, kind of just this is just a very on the fly example. But all I'm trying to show you guys is that we can turn this clicker board into a word bank as well if we didn't want to use that word bank that was already made. Maybe we're more familiar with vocabulary that we're focusing on in class. So I'm just kind of giving out ideas, on the other end of it. We don't always have to start with a book to begin a topic. Maybe we just start with the graphic organizer. I remember doing that a lot when I was in school. Maybe in the old KWL chart, we get our basic vocabulary. And then once we have that down, we go to the top left, go down, and then create a word bank. So that's just another way of doing it. And then to finish off the seven continents topic, um, we have what's called a matching set. So we can test students on what they've learned. Here you click the voice note icon in the middle, and then it's just gonna describe one of the seven continents, and then you match what was said to the picture. So,
South America.
right, where are we? We should be North America, South America. It should be lit up. And I think what happened was, guys, some of these aren't lit up, so it's not going to tell me it's right.
Try again.
But you see how some of the globe is, I guess I got to reopen that set because I went through this earlier today and I saved it. And the correct one would be where it
Try
would
again.
be lit up.
Try again.
I'm sorry. Oh, I am so sorry,
Well
guys.
done.
I can't even believe I just did that, and that's recorded. So that's on me. All right, now, I guess, kind of, if we're really focusing on general, I gotta laugh at myself sometimes because that was pretty bad. But yeah, that's obviously the right one. I just didn't see that it was lit up right here. Anyway, on the opposite end of things. If we really wanted to kind of just do general curriculum, we have another planning board that could kind of be a decision-making planning board where we have an issue. We could kind of just fill out this template and just, have more structured writing. And then once this is filled out, we can absolutely make a word bank from this. Or I also wanted to show that we have a decision-making frame already made. So
The issue I am trying to resolve is
um, finding.
finding
South.
South
Hey, I'm trying my best, guys.
America.
Um, and then yeah, I mean this is just a good another structured writing frame here is kind of what they're called. I feel like I kind of flew through this one a little bit. I'm only 15 minutes in. I'd be open to I could either talk about analytics more in depth. I did want to mention that what I've been showing you guys here is Clicker on Windows/Mac computer. So this is the teacher view. So I should definitely show you um, saving and sharing. So we've made this. Maybe let's even go back and let's add pictures again. I always like doing that. All right. Anyway, um, we can now, we're on the WinMac view. We've edited this. We put it in view and copy and guided order, and I just want to put it into the iPad Chromebook. So we're going to go to Clicker Set, and we're just going to find whatever cloud we want to put this in so we can pull it from the iPad or Chromebook that we're using on the student's device, most likely. You could use a Google Drive, a OneDrive, a Dropbox, whichever works for you. But anyway, as I said, I'm finding my cloud, I'm finding the folder I want to put it in, and I'm just going to keep it out of the folder. It's saved. It says it's finished saving down at the top right. And then if we go into Clicker Writer on an iPad Chromebook, we go to the top left, go to My Files, and here is that. Remember, we added pictures to it. We put it in view and copy guided order, and that's how you would get it from. And you could edit this directly on the student's device as well, but that's kind of how you would push it out to a student if you're not sitting right next to them, if that makes sense. Maybe you're in your class, at the end of the day and you're just quickly making something and you want to just put it on their device for the next day. That's where that would come in handy. So, all right. I guess it's a good place to stop. I did maybe want to pull up an analytics example because I know I touched on it, but I really do quickly want to go into that. And then after I touch on analytics, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. All right. So, uh, this is Ella's, sample document, and this is everything she's produced within Clicker. So on the far right-hand side of the screen here, if you go to the Analytics tab, it gives you that. I feel like I did describe the predictor, but in purple, the predictor, if you click on a word, it shows you the type letters. I feel like I said that earlier. Um, and maybe I did explain analytics in full. I'm almost forgetting. But yeah, I mean, I really like yeah, I definitely did. How you could just progress your student. And in orange, it shows you what set was used. So you know that the my favorite things set was used to create this in the document here. All right. I guess and then writing the spell check, it was showed the original spelling of writing was writing. So yeah, I just think it's a good area. One other thing is on the bottom left, that More tab. Teachers can make notes, and it will stay in the same document. So you'll have notes related to whatever document the student worked in. And then the other tab, statistics, shows how many words were typed, how many sentences, paragraphs, and then how much time was spent. And yeah, that's about it. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address them. If not, I appreciate everybody that joined me. And yeah, I guess we could stop recording if you'd like. It's really up to Naomi and the crew. But thank you, Naomi, for letting me do this. I appreciate you.
Let's see if anybody has any questions first.
Yeah, sure.
We could also keep the recording going in case there are questions
Oops.
that for when people go back
We
and
are
watch.
laughing with you. I appreciate it. That's probably referring to the continents thing. Um, anyway, no, I'm sorry, Jesse. Yeah, if I got a good laugh about that too. I actually went through that before the demo, and what happened was it would disappear when you would select the right one. Like if we go back here, it
North America. Well done.
it disappears, so it's no longer purple. So I just assumed that I already went through it. Anyway, can you just review how to make a MacBook, how to share from a MacBook to a Chromebook? And yeah, Kim, that's so commonly asked that if you have Clicker right now, I'll absolutely show it to you right now. But I could send you a screenshot tutorial of it too, because I don't know. I'm just kind of putting that out there. I'm not sure if you have Clicker right now or not, but I could definitely that would be great. Yeah, sure. I could definitely do that. Could you just please put your email in there and what district you're from? Maybe I work with you in Jersey. I'm really not sure. But yeah, let's go through that right now. So you said Berlin, Connecticut. Yeah, maybe one of my colleagues works with you guys. I'm not sure. But either way, I'll get that to you. Sorry, I'm just jotting that down and I'll show it in just a sec. All right, so uh, this sentence set. And I'm pretty sure Bob is a style of haircut, but anyway, I'm still stuck on that too, as long with South America. All right, let's get this to the iPad Chromebook. Step one, clicker set. Step two, save, and then step three, save clicker. Um, Set as. So whatever cloud you want to save it into. You find it. I do the OneDrive. I find my folder. You guys could use a Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, whichever works for you. And I'm just going to put edit by it. All right. It does say finish saving on the bottom right. And then now we're back on the iPad Chromebook view. So you're on your student's iPad on their Chromebook. You go to the top left. You go to My Files. And then Um, the Peg and Bob edit was what we sent over. Peg with the Bob. Um, anyway, yeah, that's that. I'll definitely send you the screenshot tutorial. It's literally, I think it's probably the most commonly asked question that there is. So I definitely hear you as to wanting the answer to that. I didn't go through accessibility, but on Windows and Mac devices where you have eye gaze, single switch, and double switch that works within Clicker. We do have what's called super keys, which splits the keyboard into 6 large clusters, providing a larger target area. And on iPads and Chromebooks, we actually have added accessibility. So we have single switch and double switch accessibility for iPads and Chromebooks. Eye gaze is exclusive to Windows/Mac devices. So just keeping that in mind. But yeah, uh, does it work with screen readers? Hmm. I know, and I'm honestly not sure about that. Can you give me an example of a screen reader? Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. as Jaws. Yeah, I feel like I've had that question before where we've had, I guess we can't guarantee for Jaws for the screen reader that it works. It's a case by case basis that it may work with your device if that makes sense. That's what I've been told by tech. But actually, yeah, we have people using it with Toby's, absolutely. But in the past, Naomi, with the screen readers, we've given a trial and we've let the user try it out, and it, as far as I know, it has been successful in the past, but it's just something our tech team can't guarantee. That's as far as I know. I hope that answers your question. All right, guys. Other than Kim, which I'll send stuff to that, saving and sharing. Any other questions? I do want Naomi to send out this little trial form. I know we're getting to the end of the school year, but if you wanted to run a trial of this, I'd be here to support you. If you're in New Jersey, and if you're not, one of my colleagues will absolutely support you guys as well. But just putting that out there. And yeah, if there's not any other questions, I keep saying thank you, but I really do appreciate Naomi and Jesse letting me do this. It's great.
We do have a couple more questions that popped up in the
Yeah.
chat.
So if a blind user wants to use it, there's no guarantees. Uh, yeah, if a blind user wants to, I mean, yeah, as far as I know, Naomi, I don't want to just say no. I think I could definitely take these questions to the tech team because I've just been heard that we can't guarantee it. But yeah, I think those are valid questions. I could definitely reach out and see what they have to say. I just know that in the past we have had people use it with the screen readers, but it's really I don't feel like I don't want to say I don't deal with it often, but I feel like it's not as common as Switch or the eye gaze accessibility, if that makes sense. All right, does it work with direct access or is it Windows Mac? Windows mouse emulation. Could you expand on that comment? Like, are you talking about switch access, Ashley? I
No,
just want to make sure.
we're
Yeah.
talking about eye gaze, and when you a lot of times when you're working within the communication app in eye gaze, you look directly at the cell and it will activate. And if you get out into other programs, sometimes that direct interaction doesn't work without using mouse emulation. So you have sort of that menu on the side. You have to look at the menu and say you want it to do a left click, and then you look back at the cell in order to make it select then.
Yeah. All right. That is a great question. So I think what you're asking, and for sure jump in if this doesn't answer your question, but we can make it so certain things in Clicker are not going to be scanned by the eye gaze device, if that makes sense. So, meaning, let me see here. This is eye gaze advanced. Click options, display effects. I feel like we may have changed this. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that if you didn't want say the top part, the toolbar to be scanned, if you don't want your student to have to go through all these selection, I feel like that's not answering your question.
Yeah, I think,
And yeah, let
yeah,
me,
basically right now, if I was using eye gaze, I'm wanting to know if I look directly at the Bob cell, would it activate it?
yeah, I believe it would. I just think that the dwell time, right? I know that you could adjust it,
Okay,
if you wanted it. Yeah, I hope.
we can play around with it too.
All right. Yeah, if you wanted it to activate quicker, I would just put the dwell time to half a second. Yeah, I've used the Toby actually once at an expo, so I am not the most experienced with it, but I did find it like very, very challenging. Like it's you got to be really focused to be doing it that way, and I definitely could, see the benefits of that. Any
Play around with
ideas
it.
making this
Thank you.
program? Yeah, for sure. All right. Naomi, the question. I love it. Any ideas of making this program out to all districts? What is that? I'm sorry. Could you expand on that a little bit? Uh, I don't know. Any ideas making this program out to all districts? Yeah, I'm not honestly not sure. Are you asking me that, Naomi, or Ashley, or I'm not.
I think she's asking you, Kyle.
or anyone who may have ideas how to expand it so other people know about this program.
Oh yeah,
I mean, if
uh
anyone has ideas, but
I gotcha. Hey, yeah, crew, if you got any ideas on how to get more clicker, I guess one thing I didn't really mention is I should mention this before we go. Naomi is going to send out that clicker trial form. I do appreciate that, but we also have it's an extended trial and it's a structured pilot program. So I should have mentioned this. It's fairly new. Um, but basically you get 90 days instead of the standard 4 to 6 weeks. Usually 28 days is what we offer. But it's not the pilot program is structured in the sense that we're not just giving you a trial and letting you run free. There are certain check-ins that we would like to have with you. So all I mean by that is that basically we just have, you know, I mean, I usually check in with whoever's running a trial regardless, but here's kind of what it would look like. So 1 to 4 weeks, we get set up, introduce everything. In the 5th to 8th week, we have ongoing support, feedback, and collection. And the 9 to 12 weeks, we kind of just discuss the outcome, potential licensing options. But here's basically we have, it's just more structured, as I mentioned earlier. And yeah, that offer, if you fill out the trial form and you specify that you want the pilot program, you think that'd be beneficial, I could absolutely do that with who's ever interested. But all right, I think it's just me and you, Naomi. Oh, no, never mind. We still got the crew here. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to keep addressing them. But if not, oh, that's good to know. We'll check out the pilot. Thanks so much. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Ashley, for sure. You gotta mention me though that I brought you, all right? But don't mention the South America, thing. All right. Oops, that's me looking at my calendar. Yeah, I'll let you guys go if there's no other questions, and I'll just send you the trial form, Naomi. I appreciate ya. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.